That was a fun qualifying session. If you did not see it, we had cars sliding all over the place, and at the end, we had Jimmie Johnson in his last California start trying to take the pole from Clint Bowyer, and this is how close it was. Fox Sports makes these graphics when it comes to qualifying just to show how close it is at the line, and this is how close it was between Clint Bowyer and Jimmie Johnson going for that pole award. Clint Bowyer gets the pole, Jimmie Johnson to start in the second position this weekend in his final start at Auto Club. Has the most wins all time at the track. Can he add on to that? We'll be discussing that today and a lot of other things. But looking into the weekend, we've seen 2 practices and a qualifying session so far. For tomorrow's race, unfortunately, there's a chance of rain. It's quite unfortunate. It's scattered. It's few. It's hit or miss, basically. It's not like a complete downpour like Daytona. According to this, it says few showers, scattered, cloudy, 25%, 35, 40. It goes up to 45 at the most, and that's at 2 o'clock their time. But I believe after 7 o'clock at whatever the West Coast time, Pacific Coast time, that there's no more rain for the rest of the day. That is what is being forecasted right now. So that would mean a night race at California. They do have lights at this track. So we will most likely be racing tomorrow, I would guess, unless they're basing it off East Coast and Central time. Because if they were to start at 7 o'clock Western Pacific time, that would be 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern, and that race would end well after midnight in both time zones except for the West Coast. So I'm interested to see if they end up doing something about that, if they start the race and then stop it. But yeah, hopefully I just want a full race in. I don't care what time it starts, what time it finishes. I just want a full race, to be honest. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I do think we're going to see some rain tomorrow, unfortunately. Might delay it. According to the weather so far. But enough about the weather. Hopefully it does not affect the race tomorrow. Hopefully we can get a full, clean race in without any rain. But yeah, qualifying, we saw speed from the 14 of Bowyer. 3 of the 4 Stewart-Haas cars showed a lot of speed. Bowyer on the pole, obviously. Harvick's up there in the top 5 at 5th, and then Almirola just outside at 6th. So they showed a lot of speed in qualifying. They showed speed in qualifying last week as well, and practices last week. So the Stewart-Haas cars, remember last week, Kevin Harvick led, I think, the most laps in that race at Las Vegas. Led 90-ish laps, I want to say. But his teammates didn't do as well. I think Bowyer ended up sneaking up there at the end and getting a top 10. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Or maybe that was the 500. There's only been 2 races. I could be mixing up my races. But anyways, they look strong this weekend so far. Other cars that look strong. Remember last week, Hendrick Motorsports had a really, really, really good race, along with other Chevrolets. They've been struggling in the past couple years getting wins, running up front, competing for top 5s, top 10s. Well, they're having another good week so far. Jimmie Johnson on the outside pole. Alex Bowman swept the practices, is starting 3rd. Kurt Busch starting in the top 5. Kyle Larson and Ricky Stenhouse starting in the top 10 as well. Chevy last week, we saw multiple cars in the top 10 last week, 6 or 7, I believe. Chase Elliott swept the stages, led over 70 laps. Jimmie Johnson, William Byron, Alex Bowman were all in the top 10, competing for top 5s. Austin Dillon, Jimmie Johnson ended up getting top 5s at the end of the day. So it was a really good day or a week for Chevy last week, and they're hoping to roll that momentum into this week. Where they've won before. Jimmie Johnson is the most wins all time here. 6 wins. I've seen the success with Jimmie Johnson here at the pass. So it'll be interesting to see how they do here. But recently has been run by Toyota and Joe Gibbs Racing last year. Kyle Busch won this race in 2018 with a Gibbs affiliated team. Furniture Row Racing and Martin Truex Jr. won here. So the past couple races have been won by Toyotas. So Chevy trying to end that little streak there. Ford's, though, also looking good this weekend. Logano, last week's winner, he's competed for wins here. If you remember in 2013, him and Hamlin crashed themselves out of the lead. And that was, I think, the closest Logano's gotten to a win here. But he starts 7th this weekend, coming off of his win at Las Vegas. A really good qualifying run for Michael McDowell. But yeah. So who are the favorites to win? You know, Jimmie, I think he's up there. He's got the most wins here all time, even though he's had his struggles the past couple years. He had a really fast car last week, finished in the top 5, ran in the top 10 all day at Las Vegas, and he's had a really good car this weekend. Top 10 speed in practices, qualified second, lost to the pole by 7/1000ths of a second. I don't see why you can't consider him a favorite. I think that Kevin Harvick's also a favorite. He's won here before as well, has had speed here in the past along with Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson, a former winner at this track, has had speed this weekend. I think those are 3 favorites. For sure, Bowman. I think Bowman's a favorite as well, just off of the speed he's had this weekend, based off of qualifying and then also the practices. That's the word. But anyways, I think those are a few guys you got to look for up front. Ricky Stenhouse, another good qualifying run. He's had a good first 2 weeks so far in his first few weeks in JTG Doherty's car. I expect him to have another good run. He's been proving us wrong. He's been looking pretty good this season. I expect him to have another solid run. They're up there in the top 10. I expect them to be competing for a top 10 maybe again. So I think that'll be interesting to see how they do there. But yeah, California, the track itself, 2-mile oval, D-shaped oval. What else about it? We saw tire wear last week, which was amazing. I think we'll see some this week. Multiple lines of racing. We see them go all the way onto the apron. We see them all the way up top. So it'll be just depending on tire wear, just seeing how that goes and if the rain affects the track at all, if it does in fact rain tomorrow. But for my pick, at first this was going to be a bit of a sentimental pick, and I was leaning towards it. But now that he has freaking raw speed and has a really fast car, I'm just going to go for it. I haven't picked this guy in forever because of his struggles, but I think Jimmie Johnson gets it done. His last race at Auto Club, I think he gets his 7th win at the track, his home track. It's been such an emotional weekend for him, I'm sure, with all the murals on the track. I think his daughters are waving the green flag. He's starting second. I mean, he's having a weekend, and after that run last week, they got the speed back. I think Jimmie can get it done this weekend. I think he gets it done. Jimmie Johnson, man, that'd be cool to see him win again. So I'm hoping he can do it, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes just this whole weekend. If it rains or not, I hope it doesn't rain. I'm tired of rain already. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. That helps me out a ton. Subscribe. That also helps me out a ton. And share with other people.